I have some juniper, which I think, looking at the leaves and how it's grown, is a San Jose Shimpaku juniper. But it might also be a Percummins juniper or Japanese garden juniper. I'm honestly not sure, and I don't remember the exact variety. And it might also, because I oddly remember years ago when I had gotten this, I had gotten a Sargent's juniper, which it wasn't really like the same kind of Sargent's as what's usually claimed to be a Shimpaku like this one. It's like a different kind of Sargent's that's like misnamed or something different, I don't know. Which I recall when I bought it that it was that. But I'm also like, I don't know if that's correct, so I don't know. And we got some elm trees, actually a single elm tree that's growing up in the same pot. Some two Japanese black pines. I think they are both Mikawa, or however you pronounce it. And we got a Shimpaku that's actually giving birth to 5 cuttings down here, which are actually doing pretty good. This one kind of lagged behind the others as far as size, but it's doing better than us in on pot. And then right here we have, I think, an actual Shimpaku, like regular Shimpaku. It might be a variety like a toy. I know it's not a Toigawa, but it might be Kishu or something, possibly. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's just regular Shimpaku. I actually shaped this a long time ago. I actually got it for free. It was actually being auctioned off during a regular meeting, not like an actual auction meeting. And someone had bought it. They didn't pick it up after the meeting, and I got it for free, and it's a really nice tree. As you can see the twists and turns in the trunk, which I've really done pretty good on it. Back when I first shaped this, I didn't really have the right tools to really do it really well. Like, I didn't have gin pliers. I know I didn't have wire cutters. At least at that time. I've had wire cutters in the past, but that was years and years ago, and I had lost them over the years from moving a lot. We got some good healthy growth at the base, and then the top growth, which I'm really only keeping in, I keep pitching the top back to keep it weakened so as to put strength in this new growth down here. And this will become the top eventually, and this will probably become the second gem to go with this. They'll both be poking out of the top of this growth. And I'm really just keeping this top piece to make sure that it stays alive, because it lost a lot of its foliage when I first did it. So I'm probably going to keep this for quite some time, continuing keeping it pinched back really hard and not really letting it grow at all. Meanwhile, this down here, I'm probably outside of areas like where it starts growing straight out like this. Like I'm probably going to pinch these out like so. Just take out the tips so it stays bushy rather than growing into actual like stems, and doesn't get out of control. But I'm going to eventually cut it back to this bunch right here, and that's going to be the new top, and that's pretty much going to be all the growth on it. And then over here I have a actual Kishu Shimpaku, or at least that's what it was sold as, that I got at the same auction as the previous Shimpaku. This one I actually purchased at the auction. This one is not looking good. I'm not sure the issue. Looking at the foliage, it might be spider mites. I have noticed in the past, because I've had a similar issue with this bigger Shimpaku right here, where it would do that a lot. And what usually helped with that is not even necessarily spraying it with hot water like you might with spider mites, but just misting the leaves and keeping the leaves, well, actually I guess technically needles, just constantly moist, and like keeping them moist and like having constant high local humidity, and that helped a lot with this one especially when I first got it. It was looking really bad like that. This one is. Here we got a willow oak, which it did have a top to it. I actually broke it off because the whole top had died, sadly. But I still got new growth down here. And then again, we got the 5 Shimpaku junipers that came off of this one. I'm actually debating whether I'm going to cut off this large trunk right here and use this part right here to make an literati or something. I can tell that that's getting weaker, or possibly keeping the long growth maybe a little bit longer for cuttings. But now that I got an Toigawa juniper, and I actually really like the foliage of a Toigawa to the point that I probably will only offer a Toigawa outside of maybe a few specialist plants, just for variety's sake, assuming I even do. But I'm considering chopping it off, or either chopping it off and making it into a bunch of cuttings, probably about right here or so, because I know it's not got much health here. Keeping like most of this part right here, and basically cutting it off all the way up to there, doing a whole bunch of cuttings, or possibly just doing the same, but instead of doing cuttings, just air layering it first and having a nice big trunk to plant, and then from there do cuttings and develop a new plant from that. Right here we have a Trident maple seedling that I think I've had for a year now, from last year that I bought. Another cork bark elm, and another bigger cork bark elm that's actually collected it at about probably like maybe a millimeter smaller than what it is right now in trunk size. And I cut off the root. There's basically no roots, and it did really well. Behind that, we got some more boxwood babies from that same really nice boxwood I had. That, not the one with the cork bark, but the one in the white pot that actually was dying, sadly. And mixed in there, and all through here, I got a weed right here, some clover. But all through here is just nothing but baby plants. I don't really want to go through each one of them individually, but there's mimosa trees, which I think another common name for them is umbrella tree, but I'm not 100% sure on the accuracy of that. But they do when they grow into their full-size plants, they often do have the effect of a literal umbrella in their foliage canopy. It's really unique. And mixed in, we have a few actually, wow, I just noticed this, but this one actually has a really nice twist in that lower trunk. I didn't even notice that until just now. But yeah, I got some mixed in elms that are actually not from my seedlings from last year, but outside of those, all through here, we have a few Japanese maples which I still planted. I'm not sure their age. I just know that they were bare root seedlings that I got from the same guy that I got some of my other seedlings from last year, which I'll probably list that in the description of this video, so just so people can be aware. He actually visits the Triangle Bone Society meetings in the early spring, pretty much yearly. From what I've heard about the meetings upcoming for the next year, I'm pretty sure he's coming, but I don't think he's going to be coming on his normal month, which I think is February, because we're going to be doing like a forest planting next year around that time. I don't know how it'll be planned, because I'm not really in the know on it. But I don't know the exact plans as far as that, but I do know that we're having an actual forest planting workshop next spring that'll be using, I think, Japanese maples. And I also got mixed in with these seedlings a few Japanese maples, which I got from him. Most of the Japanese maples in here that I got were actually free. I don't know why he was giving them away for free. I mean, he was selling them at first, but he let me grab I think I grabbed like a total of 5 that I didn't have to pay for, which is nice. Which actually I might cut that out, because well, whatever. And right here we actually got a Japanese maple that I actually did buy. I wonder if the guy who actually gave the few seedlings away, it was partially because it's actually me and another guy who actually grabbed a handful. Is partially because they were likely to not make it, and he's more of a seedling specialist in regards to sales of what he sells, primarily makes money from, and he may have lost those same seedlings. on the way back to where his nursery is, because he actually lives out of state. And me and the other guy are kind of like young people who actually would want some of those seedlings that might have been lost in transport, and would have just gladly just planted them and had the potential. And actually, the guy in question, he's really nice, really cool. I know one thing he's mentioned in the past is that he generally comes to a lot of bonsai societies for free, as far as like a demo or something, or teaching. And all you got to do is just pay for the travel expenses for him to get there, and he usually does the demo or the teaching lesson for free, from what he's said in the past. So he's a really cool guy. He's really heavy on teaching, especially with getting around to people. And these are actually the mimosa trees right here. One thing that I love doing with these is just going like this on the leaves. To me, the feeling on my hand when I just drag my hand across the leaves, it's really interesting. It feels like really good, actually. It's an interesting feeling. I would say, besides the really nice pink flowers when they grow up and start flowering, that's one of my favorite features of these trees. It's just it's almost like it tickles your hand, but it's not exactly tickling per se, but it's a really interesting feeling. And I'm actually probably, I don't know, I might keep most of the trees, but one of my plans for at least one of my mimosa trees was to grow one of them into probably I would say 4 to 6 inch trunk, and develop a really large literati tree with a lot of bends in the trunk. But I was going to do the trunk bending via clip and grow, primarily as a form of training it, and kind of like do not like your normal triangle shape or something like that, like your normal shape of the canopy on a bonsai, but do something a little bit more unique and relevant to this plant, which is its umbrella shape as it grows tall into a mature plant. And actually, in some ways, as a mature plant, it kind of does resemble literati in the fact that most literatis have all their growth at the top, which this one does as well, and it doesn't really have much growth down low, outside of like major branches that develop the upper little umbrella-like canopy. But yeah, this is basically all my plants that I have at my nursery, besides this, which not sure its condition of that, and a few honeysuckles, which actually from the same guy that sells the seedlings each year at the Triangle Bone Society. There is he also mentioned at the meeting this year in regards to another vine-like plant, how one grower in Japan usually grew his, I don't remember the exact variety, I think, or maybe, I can't even remember what the plant was, but it was a traditional bonsai species, not really common in the US. I don't remember the name of it at all, but what I'm trying on these right now is a technique which he mentioned, which is basically the same as what I mentioned previously with working with seedlings in the Bonsai Masterclass book by Peter Chan, which is generally just let them grow crazy for an entire year and then cut them back hard and keep doing this regularly. And I'm hoping this might also allow me to thicken up the trunks a bit and actually get some thick trunks. But I already got on some of them some thick trunks. Some of these, I have 5 of them, already have some really nice potential as just small bonsai outside of a thin trunk. Like, they have really nice movement. I really think honeysuckles could make a really nice bonsai, especially if you train them from a young age and print them right to get movement in the trunk, because they really do develop some really nice movement. Not in all cases, but if you do them right, they will have really nice moving, curving trunks. As you can see right here, there's a lot of movement right here. Kind of hard to see, but because they're vines, they generally just grow back and forth. I'm not sure which ones. Here's a good example. Actually, let me try to get that leaf out. As you can see, there's actually a lot of movement right there, all through there in the main trunk line, and that's what I'm talking about. Is they easily develop that pretty well too. They don't thicken up much though, sadly. Actually, looking at these, they might need a little bit water. But yeah, that's all my plants that I have at my nursery currently. Again, this is Seinu Gardens. See you next time. Bye.